like to think that WVU is a cornucopia full of resources available to students. Now, if I were to talk about every single WVU campus resource, we'd be here all day. Because of that, there's one campus resource that I want to highlight in particular that totally impacted my college career. And that WVU campus resource would be the Carruth Center for Mental Health Counseling. Now, if this message does not currently apply to you, thank you for your time. Go ahead and bookmark this. You can save the URL or you can continue watching. If this message does currently apply to you though, hi, my name is Maddie and I promise you, I have been in your shoes before. I know what it feels like to feel like you really know that you need help, but you don't know where that help is. Because of that, I wanted to make this video about sharing my own experience with the Carruth Center and how it transformed my college experience. So a little bit of a backstory about me and how I ended up going to the Carruth Center. Anxiety has been something that I have always suffered with my whole life, as long as I can remember, but it was never anything that I couldn't manage on my own. That was until about a year ago now, so the fall of my sophomore year, I just gotten out of a really bad breakup. I was devastated, and I found myself being able to be conquered more often by my anxiety. I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to eat. I couldn't sleep though, and then I found myself not wanting to go to class anymore, which was totally unlike me because I love going to class. And I also found that it got to be really bad when I didn't even want to hang out with my friends anymore. I was totally isolated. I felt helpless. And if you've been there before, like I said, I know how you feel. And I knew that I needed help, and so I had a friend actually recommend me to go to the Carruth Center. And when I went, I was incredibly nervous to go. But I have to tell you folks, as soon as I walked in that door, I was greeted with such a kind and welcoming environment. And I knew from the moment that I stepped in that A, I was going to be validated for what I was feeling, and B, I was going to be feeling better soon. To go on how the Carruth Center itself actually works, and my experience being at the Carruth Center, I walked in and they make you fill out an intake form, basically asking you why you're there. And then you actually meet with an intake counselor and they chat with you again more about why you're there, and they assign you a counselor that you'll be meeting with, and they also kind of make up your schedule. Now the schedules can vary based on what your needs are. For me, it was determined that I needed to meet with a counselor about every other week, so bi-monthly, and it fit in perfectly with my school schedule. So that was what my plan was, and I didn't really know what to expect. I'd never been to counseling before, but I walked in, with bright eyes, and I was excited about it. And folks, I noticed the difference as soon as I started going. Immediately afterwards, I would feel this rush of accomplishment and validation, and I felt a lot better of myself right after I would walk out of my sessions. But also afterwards, I was taking tips that my counselor would talk with me about, and when I would notice things going on in my life, I could be able to identify it, validate it, and then start to treat it by myself. Journaling was one thing that I started doing based on a recommendation from my counselor, and it's something to this day that I still do to be able to battle with anxiety. And I found that after going there for 3 months, I was better. I was able to maintain my anxiety and control it better. And that was my experience at the Carruth Center. It was really helpful. It was really informative. And I also never at one point ever felt like my problems were, too small, or maybe they were too big. I always felt like what I was going through was valid and that my therapist was there to listen to me. So, in conclusion, if you are somebody that is struggling with your mental health, first off, if it is emergency, please go ahead and call the lines that the Carruth Center has to talk with somebody immediately. If not, as soon as you can, schedule to meet with the Carruth Center. They're currently doing video therapy, and I swear to you, it is very helpful, very informative, and extremely healthy for you to do. Take care of yourself in college, not only physically, but also mentally. Because the only way you'll succeed in college is if you're physically and mentally well. Stay well, Mountaineers. Thank you.